Hello everyone, my name is Miguel. Welcome back to the channel. When it comes to minimalist design, few names in the watch world carry as much respect as Junghans, and by extension Max Bill. Today we're taking a look at the Junghans Max Bill Handwind reference 273702.04, the black dial version. It's a watch that's loved by many in the watch community, but after spending some time with it, I came away with mixed feelings. Let's talk about why. But first, I want to give a special shout out to my friends over at Worn & Wound for letting me borrow this watch. The Wind Up Watch Shop offers a selection of watches, automatic mechanical cords from renowned and independent brands, plus accessories like straps, clocks, EDC tools, and storage gear. I'll leave a link to their shop in the description. Junghans is one of Germany's most storied watch brands. Founded back in 1861 in the Black Forest region, over the decades they've built everything from stopwatches to chronometers, and they even produced their own movements at one point. But what really put Junghans on the map in the world of design was a collaboration with Swiss designer, architect, and artist Max Bill. You see, Max Bill was part of the Bauhaus school of design, a movement known for its clean lines, simplicity, and functionality. In 1961, Junghans approached Bill to design a series of clocks and later wristwatches. The result was a collection that perfectly embodied Bauhaus principles: form following function, nothing extra, and everything reduced to its purest purpose. Even today, decades later, Junghans continues to produce these watches with almost the same design Max Bill himself drew up, and that's what gives this watch its timeless appeal. The Junghans Max Bill hand winding is about as minimalist as it gets. The matte black dial is clean and symmetrical, with crisp Arabic numerals printed in white and a thin minute track that circles the outer edge. It's perfectly legible, beautifully balanced, and the overall presentation really does feel like a piece of modernist art. The dial is easily the standout feature of this watch. Under the right light, you can see how clean everything has been finished. It looks more refined than photos can show. It's one of those dials that you just keep glancing at throughout the day, not because it's flashy, but because it's beautifully restrained. However, while the dial is great, I can't say the same thing about everything else. This particular version comes in a 34mm stainless steel case with a thickness of about 9mm and a lug-to-lug of roughly 37.4mm. On paper, that sounds wearable for most wrists, but on my 6 7/8 inch wrist, it definitely felt a bit too small. The ultra-thin bezel and dome sapphire crystal make it wear even smaller than the numbers suggest. For those who prefer a more modern size, I recommend going for one of the automatic versions in 38mm. The extra size makes a big difference on the wrist. One thing I wasn't a fan of is the finishing on the case. For a watch that costs over $1,000, it just doesn't feel up to par. The metal scratches very easily, much more than I expected, which is disappointing at this price point. The watch is also only splash resistant, which really limits its practicality. For something that's marketed as an everyday minimalist piece, I'd expect at least 50 meters of water resistance. Inside is the J805.01 movement, which is based on an ETA 2801-2, a reliable hand-wound Swiss caliber that beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour and offers around 42 hours of power reserve. The caliber itself is solid and dependable, but my main gripe is with the crown. It's extremely small and recesses into the case, which makes it uncomfortable to grip and wind. Because this is a manual wind piece, you'll be winding it every other day, and doing that with such a tiny crown isn't exactly enjoyable. Personally, I'd much rather go for the automatic version, not only for convenience, but also for the slightly more substantial case feel. Junghans did apply lume on the hands and the hour markers, but the luminous material is minimal. Because of the very fine surface area of the hands and indices, the glow is faint and fades quickly. It's nice that they included lume for functionality, but in practice, it's not going to help much in low light. The 18mm strap on this model is not the best color, however it does taper nicely and feels supple right out of the box. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this color pairing with the black dial. I think a darker or more neutral tone would have complemented the watch better. But the leather quality is fantastic, it's soft, flexible, and definitely premium feeling. On the wrist, the watch is lightweight and very comfortable. The dome crystal and curved lugs help it hug the wrist beautifully. It's just that, in my case, it felt a little too delicate and small, almost like wearing a vintage piece. Now, there's no denying that the Junghans Max Bill is a design icon, but here's the thing, it sits in a price range that overlaps with Nomos, and that's where I start to question the value proposition. Nomos watches, especially the Tangente or Orion, offer in-house movements, better finishing, more substantial cases, and a design language that feels just as Bauhaus inspired, but with a higher level of refinement. Personally, I find Nomos to feel more complete, both in quality and brand experience. And if we're talking about style alone, there are much cheaper ways to get this clean, minimalist look. Honestly, I'd rather pick up a Timex Marlin or one of their hand-wound pieces that capture a similar aesthetic at a fraction of the price, even if they don't have the same heritage. To sum it up, this watch is beautifully designed with deep roots in Bauhaus history. The dial is the strongest feature, and it's a piece that will resonate deeply with anyone who loves clean and functional design. But for me, this particular model just doesn't deliver the full experience I was hoping for. The smaller case, delicate finishing, and easily scratched metal, and small crown make it a bit frustrating to use day to day. I had high expectations, especially since every other YouTuber seems to rave about this watch, but it simply didn't live up to the hype for me. That said, I'm still open to exploring other Junghans models, maybe the automatic Max Bill or even something from their Meister line. There's clearly a lot of history and design credibility in the brand, and I love to see if one of their other watches captures that magic for me. For now though, this particular Max Bill, while beautiful, just isn't the one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, be safe out there and stay humble.